Hey everybody, good morning. We are out at a location that I haven't been to in some time. I've already seen some deer, and as a matter of fact, we're here a little before sunrise because I checked the forecast this morning and it said a sunrise of 6:40 a.m., which is nice. That's gave me some more time. I was able to eat breakfast and take my time getting ready and getting here. But I'm betting it all today. That's what I need. That's what I was figuring when I planned this, because I thought of it yesterday. I haven't been back here in a while. The last time I came here, it's an open space, so there's hills that I'm going to have to walk up. The last time I was here was during my Christmas to New Year's vacation, I'm pretty sure. And I just walked and took pictures. And it's very pretty, big open space, as the name would have you believe. But there was one spot. Mostly there's not too much here, but there was one spot where there were trees, and it was further down off. It was just kind of off to the side of this road at some point that I don't think you can drive on anymore, but several birds, I think Steller's jay, and they just hung out there the whole time. I sat there for a good bit and just watched them and took pictures. So that was during winter. I don't think there was too much snow on the ground, was there? There may have been. It's been almost a year. I don't remember. I thought about coming more recently, but there was a wildfire not too far from what I could tell of the map. So that was a month or two ago. And I remember thinking, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to that place anytime soon. I kind of put it out of my head. But I thought about it today, so I came out with the stuff, and I got to get going, because we're not going to be there before the sunrise. If I got 20 minutes still, I think it's going to take me more than 20 minutes to hike out there. But let's get loaded up and hit the trail. It's been more than 3 hours. I just wrapped up. I'm done. I got the shot that I wanted. We'll talk about it more in the car, but I'm going to do the landscape. I got some things to talk about for sure, but I'm going to set up the camera and get some of the landscape around. Show you what it looks like here. Then we'll pack it up, head back to the car and talk. think they were doing this last time. Was it because it was winter? I don't know. I definitely took pictures of this particular view, and I don't remember seeing a huge mine. I think that's new, but that's a lot of work that they've done, isn't it? I don't know how well it's going to come through. I'll zoom in as best I can here, but yeah, I could hear the construction equipment as I was recording. I assume it's a gravel mine? We've been to one of those before, or more accurately, we've been to a park that's a lot of wetlands now, water-filled ponds, that was a gravel mine. So maybe that's what will happen over there in years to come. I don't know. And now we're back in the car. We're going to do what we can do. It's not exactly the best angle here, but it will have to do. I tried to rearrange this mount. It's a suction cup mount. And I noticed that it's just really, really wobbly, and I'm having to stabilize the footage to make it watchable when it was hanging directly off the windshield, because I suppose there's nothing there for adding any kind of support. It's just fully straight down. And so all the gravity pulls on it, and every little bump in the car makes it move. So I put it on the passenger side window instead, and it's just so heavy it's pulling it down. I'm going to look into, this is a 2 suction cup mount. They make a 3 suction cup mount, but the suction cups aren't really the problem. It's stuck on there and it's staying. The problem is the actual support of the arms. I wish I could get a gimbal. That would be really cool. I do have one, but that would be a lot of hassle to set up every time. But anyway, it is what it is. We also had the batteries die. This is the second time I'm recording it. I don't know how much you can see. Oh, you can definitely see that there are some street lights. I'm just in a parking lot. There's a grocery store over there. Because I drove for a while and found a parking lot. I didn't want to stay at the park that we were at because the parking lot was almost full, and then people were coming to sit and sit. People were coming to park and then go walk the trails and hike. And it feels a bit rude to be sitting there recording for an extended period of time. I can come out to a parking lot where there are no cars around me and it should be fine. Anyway, we saw a bunch of great things. I take 2 on everything here. Since I already was halfway through it while driving when the battery just shut off on this thing, we'll have to keep an eye on it and make sure that, it doesn't do that again. Anyway, we saw a bunch of great things. We got out there, we walked for a while, and we get out and there's a patch of trees. Perfect, exactly what we want. I pick one that's kind of trees to the left of me, trees to the right of me, and right in the middle is just pretty much a lone tree, and I can sit in the shade there. That's going to be great for where the sun is coming up. I'll be able to, basically have a pretty good wide range of looking around for birds in these trees, and that is what I wanted to do. And we spotted, pretty much right off the bat, the American kestrel. Actually, not kestrels. Didn't realize that in the moment on the day, but doing the research and looking in the book now and identifying them properly, prairie falcons. First time I've ever seen a prairie falcon before. They didn't have that normal reddish, and the head looks very different. Doesn't have the 2 bars, and it's got kind of a white eyebrow. Prairie falcon. Really cool. Something new. 2 of them, actually. Watching them play around with each other a bit. They were like flying around and kind of chasing each other, and then they did a bunch of hunting where they were swooping down. I didn't actually see them catch anything, so I don't know if that happened, but they certainly were there, and they kept landing on one particular tree, so I tried my best to set up. I think I still missed the shot, or at least missed the beginning of it, but I tried to set up a slow motion clip, a high frame rate, so that it looks, so you get the full detail. That's what I was trying to do. I don't know if that came out, but yeah, you missed it. Immediately, that kind of sets my mind at ease as far as, am I going to see anything today? And is this going to be, is the bet going to pay off? Coming out here, big open space, not a guarantee that any birds are going to be in these particular trees, but kestrel, perfect. Saw them not too long ago, did a whole more in-depth video with the bigger camera because we knew where their nests were and we went and saw them. That was perfect. But then, a couple other things happened that were quite exciting. I'm looking and I see movement. The way that this landscape is, I'm off to the side of basically that dirt road we talked about. And then on the other side is the plains leading up to a mountain, and there is a trail there, as it turns out. You can go to either overlook, I suppose, and there were people walking on that trail up there, and I saw them and went, okay. And then I saw movement down at the base, in the plains right there, and coyote.
a pair of them. And they were watching the humans, and they were going up near them. Not great. Seems pretty unlikely that the coyotes would attack, but I did have that thought of, all right, if I have to, I can yell and they'll hear me. We're not that far away. And I'm getting a pretty decent shot of the coyote. What you don't see are the humans up on the trail above them. And they could easily get to them if they wanted to. But they're watching them and they're keeping an eye, but then they get spooked and then they back off and, interesting. But I was watching and I went, oh, great, I get to see coyote. And they're definitely not wolves like I've thought that they were before, but they're coyote. Very interesting, very cool. All right, keep my wits about me. I know that they're here. And a little bit later on, the prairie dogs start going nuts and I see the coyote again. Okay, that's interesting. What's going on this time? There's 3 coyote. Probably the same 2 and then a third one. But they're there and I see them in the distance and they're doing that. And then I see the herd of deer. We saw deer as we were walking up and there are deer pretty much all over. And they clump up together and then the coyotes are there. And I have that moment of, am I going to see them attack? Is this what's going to happen? That would be incredible to witness and watch this. And this is a great shot. All of it's going well, and there's just one negative. And thankfully, the one negative is something that we can fix fairly easily. But on the trail at this particular moment is a pair of humans who seem to just be talking at full volume. Because I'm sure over the shotgun mic that I had, I could just hear every word, like I could hear their entire conversation. That's easy enough to fix. I can just dub over the audio. It's not like we had an audio focus at that point in time because the deer or the coyote weren't making noises or calls. There were the prairie dogs, but they were doing that the whole time anyway, so I can just sub in some different audio for something else. But I do watch. And the coyotes are there, and they're near the deer, and the deer have grouped up, and they're all together, and they're moving as a unit towards the coyotes. And then the biggest deer, and I couldn't tell if it was a buck. They were further away. I did the best I could with the lens that I had, but they were further away. I couldn't 100% tell, is it a buck or is it just like the female adult? But clearly the biggest one has like a showdown with these coyote, just fronts on them and stands up and goes, no way. And the coyotes bolt and like the deer chases them. I've never seen the prey chasing the predator. It's incredible. I did my best. I don't think I could really get them in one shot because they were kind of further away the whole time. I did my best. I'll have to stabilize the footage because that tripod's really not meant for tracking shots. It's cheaper, but we'll see what we could do. But yeah, they took off and the deer chased them down a bit to really show up and be like, there's no way I'm letting this happen. And the coyotes just weren't doing it. And so I did the best that I could, and I kind of tracked the coyotes more so, being the more interesting, and they were fearful of it, and then went back to the deer, and I hope that shot came out. That was cool, a Coyote Showdown. I've never seen that before, and that was great. So besides the audio, which I could flip in, that's something that you'll see, and was just an incredible moment.
I don't know what happened to the first clip of just 2 coyote and people up on the trail. Must have forgotten to press record. Genuinely don't have that and don't have a gap in the file numbers for what was recorded on the camera. Still got the group of 3 in the deer though.
That happened. That was really cool. And then I sat around for a while and I kept my eyes and ears out. And at one point, one of the coyotes did come close enough to me where I went, okay, this has moved from wildlife observing into could be dangerous situation. So we just need to be aware of what's happening. Whether or not I have bear spray, at the very least, it is always on me when I go out. It is a deterrent. I imagine it would work because it's basically just pepper spray for a coyote if that needed to be. But they were scared of deer, so I was pretty sure. So I just basically stood up and made myself big, and the coyote saw me and went, I'm going this way, and just took off. So didn't have to worry about that. I don't know if that came out. I just pressed record in the GoPro, but my focus was more on the coyote more so than aiming my torso at the coyote, as you might imagine. But it's a wide angle lens. You might see that, you might not. All I did was stand up and just kind of looked and made sure coyote knew that I was there now and took off. I wasn't like hiding myself. I thought about it once I got in there because it was a nice day. The weather was nice. It was like 49 when I woke up and I went, okay, that's a little bit chilly. And the high's going to be 90. It's getting hot right now with me just sitting in the sun. I unfortunately parked in a space where the sunlight is directly shining on me. As you could probably tell in the video, it's a bit unfortunate and a bit hot. But anyway, But other than that, being outside, the weather was perfect. But I did have that thought of, oh, I didn't bring like any kind of camo blind or the pop-up tent or anything with me. I probably should. That would help even better. But having the full, like, each one of those is a downside. As it turns out, no matter what, the camo that I throw over me, the scrim or whatever it's called of that, is a downside because then it limits my movement and it's uncomfortable. The pop-up tent limits how much visibility I get. I can't really see everything because now I'm only looking just out of those particular holes that are cut into, that are the zip windows. It's not exactly the most ideal, but it is what it is. And we do the best that we can with what we've got. So I thought about that. I might bring that next time, but it did work. And there was one other thing. The whole point of what I was coming out here to see, what I saw the last time we saw, was Stellar's J.
For as excited as we were talking about Stellar's J to go see those, that's not what actually happened. Those were not Stellar's J. Maybe they were a year ago, but on this day, what was recorded, not Stellar's J. Woodhouse's Scrub J. Never seen one of those before. Very excited to see and add to the collection.
Beautiful bright blue bird. I saw him here or there. Oh, I also saw something gray. The editor's going to find out, and we're going to be able to tell, hopefully, what that was, but I didn't recognize it right away. Could be a female Stellar's J. I'm not sure. But that'll be something for us to learn what it was.
This one was tough. It was not easy because it was very far away, and the heat of the day was out, so the footage is pretty heat distorted. Best that we could. Took a while, but I'm actually fairly confident given that it was grayer and has a bit of orange underneath, the shape of it. I think this is Say's Phoebe, which we have seen once before more recently, but always like to see it again.
But I really want to get a Stellar's J on video because I've just taken some pictures before and they're kind of further away. I don't think any of them have been spectacular pictures or anything, but I really would like to get some nice clear footage of a Stellar's J. So I try. And I tried for about an hour and a half, I think. I think I looked at my phone at one point and went, okay, this is what time it is. I guess we'll leave by like 9:30. And it really was pushing 9:30 when finally, because I kept seeing I'm on either side. There's trees on the left, trees on the right. And I kept like, Stellar's J would go over me. And then when they would land in the tree, in the thick pine tree where I couldn't see them. Or they'd land on the ground. And by the time I get the camera over to them, they've already hopped up into the branches where I can't see them. So I had like several close calls here or there. And then finally I'm getting ready and I'm like, well, if it doesn't happen in the next few minutes, we'll come back another time. It'll be fine. And then one goes over my head and goes and lands under a tree there and then just patrols like the rocks. Checking it out, hopping up on rocks, hopping down, and I track it the whole time, and I get a nice long clip, and I'm happy. I got to see the Stellar's J, and we had several other exciting things happen. This was a great day out and all in all. So, really cool, really good stuff. I think that's going to do it, since apparently we've had some battery dying issues on the camera today. I don't know why. That other one, let's be clear, this is a better option anyway, coming to a parking lot and sitting still and recording rather than doing it while I was driving, but that's fine. We'll just trash all that footage that we took from before. Oh well. All right, that's going to do it. Until next time, everybody. Yeah, no, I think that's everything. I think that covers it. All right, I got to get a better mount for this, but besides that, everything's going just the way I'd hoped it would. I did take last weekend off because I had contract work to do. Why am I still talking? Why am I continuing? I wrapped it up. What's happening? Bye, everybody. Now end it. We're recording. I'll do my best. I hope we've got the audio anyway. Yeah, it does jostle, doesn't it? But it's the best that we can do. I think I've actually done a bit too much weight on this mount. I should weigh this camera when it's fully loaded up like that and see how much it actually weighs. And then find out, this is a 2 suction cup mount, and I know that they make a 3. And the 3 might work a little better.